Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patt, along with Sid Roeder, my co-host. How are you today, Sid?
I am doing great. How about you?
I'm lovely. You know, this week's been a little off with daylight savings. It kind of always throws me off. How about you?
Yeah, I want to do a national campaign. There's still 48 states that are doing this. I think it's wrong on so many levels, but yeah.
Oh, well, I'm getting used to it by now, so that's all right. Well, we have a wonderful guest. Well, let's talk a little bit about our sponsors before we introduce our guest.
Absolutely. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information for seniors, their family members, and really everybody who cares. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you'd like to call me personally, if you have any suggestions for this show, you can do so at 435-512-6406.
That's excellent. Have you got any phone calls lately?
Yes, I do get phone calls. I even had a lady who actually walked into my office to get some information, and I wasn't there, so I had to call after her.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, wonderful. Well, Alan Thorne, the wheelchair man, is with us today. Alan, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, we're excited. You have a new venture going on right now. You wanna tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you or haven't heard you on the radio before, and then go into what your new venture is.
Yes, thank you. As you mentioned, I'm known throughout the valley as the wheelchair guy. For years, I've spent helping people all over northern Utah get into custom mobility equipment. And now, while I'm still doing that, we have a new venture called RT Med Mobile that was just recently launched that is designed to provide that same kind of custom service I was doing for wheelchairs, but for all levels of home accessibility and mobility. So we're taking it away from the big power chairs and trying to help people on a more personal level in other aspects of home accessibility and senior care.
And when we talked before the show, Alan, we talked a little bit about the traditional way that usually works when people are looking for equipment to assist them. Maybe you want to chime into that and then tell us what the difference is to RT Med Mobile.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so there's really two ways that we get medical equipment for people. One is that when the doctor recommends something and says you need a wheelchair, for example, and the doctor then sends a prescription over to a provider, they bill it through Medicare, and eventually you get your equipment delivered. And that's the world I kind of worked in. The other way is you go to a retail outlet, a retail store that has the products you need on display. For example, walkers and power lift recliners, etc. You pick one and you take it home and hope it works. And what we're doing with RT is it kind of flies in the face of that traditional model, where if someone needs equipment, they call, and I personally right now, and as we grow, obviously other people, but I personally come to the home and we measure you and we say, okay, what's going to work best in your situation? What's going to work best in your home? How does your home need to be modified to make you safer? And by sitting there and doing a custom evaluation with the client, with their home environment, we can tailor equipment to fit their needs specifically, so they're not having to guess in a showroom that's not in their living room where they're going to be staying. So it's a way to make getting medical equipment far more convenient.
So what kind of equipment are you customizing? I mean, are grab bars customizable, or what are you looking for here?
Oh yeah, definitely. So grab bars are a perfect example. It's not something that's discussed really as we age. It's something that, we find out later that we're going to need. And so people don't plan it into their home, into their builds. So we go in and we take measurements on, okay, if you have a grab bar, if you're a fall risk in your bathroom, where are we going to put that? and how's it going to fit in the different places that's going to work best for your situation. So grab bars are one that you don't consider to be custom, but that's making sure it goes in the right place is a big deal. Power lift recliners that, again, people can buy them off the shelf, but it may not fit in the space you're using. It may not fit your body type. The other things are ramps. A custom ramp that can be built outside without modifying your home, and when the home is sold, it can be easily removed. Stair lifts to get up and down your stairs, when that gets a little more difficult. All of these are customized to your home and your person, and that's not easy to do just picking it off a shelf somewhere.
See, I've never thought this through, but this actually makes me question how often a piece in the puzzle is neglected in that process when there is a prescription, but maybe, there's other things that need to happen to even make it work.
Yeah. No, there's so much. And there's also, when you talk about the prescriptions, there's products that Medicare just won't cover. And no one talks about that. We all know we can get a wheelchair or a hospital bed through Medicare. But a good four-wheel walker is not something you can have approved. A stair lift, a ramp, a lift chair, those are things that Medicare won't pay for. And unless you have someone that can sit down with you and say, hey, these are things that you can get covered through your health insurance, and these are things that you're going to have to pay for out of pocket, it can be very, very confusing. And that's the world I've lived in, is the insurance world. I know all the equipment we can get approved through your Medicare and what we need to do that. But to be able to go back the other direction and say, hey, how do we get this taken care of and make sure when you spend your money, you get what you need, knowing that Medicare's not going to help. I think that brings people a lot of peace of mind because it takes the guesswork out of it.
So if someone has a question or wants to get in touch with you about something like that, do you have a call center or someplace where they can call and get that question, or can they just call you? How does that work?
Yeah, right now, actually. So we do have an office. We have an office up in North Logan, fairly close to the Cache Valley Hospital. And people can walk in there and get in touch with me. We do have an office phone number that forwards straight to my cell phone currently. So if anyone calls, they will get me specifically. And I'll set an appointment and come out on my own and meet with them in person.
Now, does that visit cost anything? I mean, do you have a surcharge on that, a visit fee or something like that goes with that?
No, actually. So those consultations are free to come out and do those fittings and make sure everything works. And then we just work with your budget to figure out what you're going to need.
That's great. We're already coming up on our first break here in a hurry, Alan, so I want to give you the opportunity to mention your actual physical address and your phone number.
Okay, definitely. So our address is 2057 North, 200 East in North Logan, and the phone number is 435-260-6171.
Thank you. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're ramping up for a little break, but let me mention our sponsor again. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know 10,000 baby boomers qualify for Medicare every day? Did you know that you'll start to get swamped with mail about Medicare 6 months before your 65th birthday? Did you also know it doesn't cost anything to use an insurance agent to help you navigate through all those offers? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. Let me help you understand all the offers you're receiving and find the plan that fits best for your situation. Call me today at 435-890-8155.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at Comfort Care. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
And welcome back to the Senior Moments Show. Again, my name is Bryce Patton with Sid Roeder, our co-host, and we are with Alan, the wheelchair guy, who is telling us about RT Med Mobile. It's a new venture he started that does customizable medical equipment. And we were just talking in the break about some of the experiences that you've had, Alan, about how you're able to measure and get the right equipment for people. Would you mind sharing some of those stories for the audience?
Yeah, I'd love to. So the most recent one that really was a huge success that I love to tell people about was I got in touch with a lady who had been using a chair that she'd bought just at a furniture store and years ago, but she's gotten to where she's having a hard time getting up and out of her chair. But she's got some very, very specific needs as far as making sure the chair fits the right way and her own preferences. So I was able to go, and actually, Bryce, you were there with me on this one, and we went and took a lift chair that we had in stock, and we had her sit in it. And we got an idea of, okay, how does this fit you? How are you able to get in and out of it? How comfortable is it? And we were able to kind of do this whole evaluation. We took some measurements of her and figured out her preferences. And we were able to come up with an idea of the kind of chair that's best going to work for her. Now, this wasn't a chair that we could just grab off the shelf. We had to make a custom order. And so I worked with some of our suppliers. We had a chair custom ordered in. It was there a couple weeks later. And we took it back out and had her sit in it. And the fit was perfect. It was fantastic. We got it into the space. It fit in the space she needed it to fit in. And that was the first time she actually felt comfortable getting rid of this older chair that she absolutely loved. And we had a report recently, followed up a few weeks later, saying this is the first time in a long time she's been able to easily get out of her chair because this chair helps her stand up. But she said for the first time in a long time, she's able to get up and not have her back hurt. And that highlights the difference between these medical grade chairs that we're working with and maybe a furniture store lift chair, because they do make a difference. And making sure you have the right equipment, you may not know the impact for a week or two, but people are actually seeing huge differences when we make sure they've got the right stuff.
So how does it work because you've got all kinds of different supplies, but for example, let's just say I have my parents visiting and I might want to get a few helpful items for my house for my parents to make their life easier. Can anybody just walk into your store and look at some of those products that you're offering?
So we do have certain products that we have on hand and people can come and try them out and look at them. We don't have a huge inventory there, unfortunately, at the moment. And the reason is everything we're doing is being custom ordered for individuals. So typically when I have stuff in inventory, it's because I've ordered it specifically for another person. And so it's not quite as convenient as just walking in and grabbing it off the shelf. But we do make sure that when you get something, it is fit for you. And it's the stuff you're going to need for your home or your person.
Oh, that's excellent. One of the things I was thinking of is you were, that story about the lift chair is fantastic. But what about installation? You guys you were talking about the custom grab bars or even the wheelchair ramp, right? I mean, I'm kind of a do-it-yourself kind of guy that wants to, hey, I can just go ahead and build a ramp or whatnot. What would you say to me versus, having you guys come out and do that?
Oh, there's a lot of great benefits to using our products over maybe just building it on your own. And obviously people are welcome to do that, but we do discourage it to a certain extent, because if there is a stair lift or a ramp, for example, if your neighbor can come and build you a ramp out of wood, that's great, but over time that wood's going to rot. You're going to have issues. There's other maintenance that comes along with that. When we do a ramp, for example, we custom measure it to ADA guidelines, and we have certified installers. that are able to help put that in and make sure everything's ADA compliant. The other thing we do is our ramp systems, while I'm on that topic, are modular. And so we're not changing your concrete, we're not changing the front of your home. We can bring it in and put it in, have everything installed and anchored. It's aluminum, it's not going to rust, it's got traction built into it so it won't wear out. But then in the event the home changes hands down the road, just a few bolts and the whole ramp comes out and the home is back to the way it was. So you're not losing value by adding something on the front of the home that maybe is doing damage and other things like that. And as far as safety goes, a stair lift that is not installed by a professional is just a risk. We don't want those stair lifts coming off and having someone get hurt while they're using it. So making sure you get it from someone who can get the right products, have the right warranties, and get the right installation done is paramount to safety. So while people can do it themselves, I do discourage it from a safety and value for money perspective.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of a story that you told me before we started this show and I believe it was also a lift chair situation where someone was trying to fix a part and had ordered online. Maybe you want to share that also.
Yes, so that was an interesting one. That was right after we started, actually, and I got a call to fix a powered scooter, which, of course, powered mobility was my specialty for a long time. These are people I've known for years. So I agreed to go help them. And as I was working on this scooter, they had a lift chair sitting there in the corner and invited me to sit down while I tinkered on this piece of equipment. So I sat down on the lift chair and felt the whole thing tip sideways. Now, it didn't tip all the way over, but there was an obvious shift that kind of threw me off balance. And I stood up and said, what's going on with your lift chair? And the gentleman informed me he had looked at lift chairs and decided he was going to save some money. So he ordered one online. And he spent about $800 buying this lift chair online. And it showed up and was just wobbly. It wouldn't hold him properly. The cushion was breaking down. And so I informed him about RT and what we're doing here. And I said, would you like me to order you one? So I took measurements of the space. I took measurements of him. I got weight capacities, everything else. Gave him a price, and it was within his budget. So he asked me to order this chair. And it was, instead of $800, it was about a $1,200 chair. But it was a medical grade chair. It was made for someone to use for medical purposes. When I brought that chair, and I actually gave him a discount on the chair if he let me take the old one with me, the internet bought chair. And when he sat in the new chair I brought in, just the look on his face, it was a night and day difference. And if he'd been willing to spend that $400 extra, he would have a good chair that he'd been able to use. He'd been stuck with this chair he'd bought online for 6 months, and he hadn't been able to use it. And so we changed his life. He loves the new chair. And now I have the old chair that I can show to people and demonstrate the difference between something you buy online and something that's actually made for you. And it is a life changer.
We're talking about lift chairs, and so I'm curious, are there warranties, or do you guys come out and service them if they break down? Because, I mean, $1,200 for a chair, I mean, it seems like quite a bit,
Oh, yeah. And that's a big thing with RT. We do service in your home, and so you're not having to bring it to us. If it's a warranty item, and many of these have great warranties for years and years, if it's a warranty item, we do those repairs for free. If it's not, we charge $50 to come out to someone inside Cache County to come out and look at it and diagnose it. Usually it's an easy fix, but it's nice to have us on hand to be able to come out and evaluate it in your home and take a lot of that stress out of it. These are things people depend on to live, so we want to make sure they keep working.
Thank you, Alan. We're already coming up on our second break, so if you could mention your address and phone number again.
Yes, the address is RT Med Mobile at 2057 North, 200 East in North Logan, and our phone number is 435-260-6171, and that's RT Med Mobile.
Thank you, Alan. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're visiting today with Alan Thorne with RT Met Mobile here in North Logan, and we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In today's world, we often think it's cheaper to order through the mail, right? In the case of prescriptions, that's not always true. Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram, your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, is often less expensive than mail order plans. Plus, you can talk to the pharmacist in person or on the phone. Who better to help navigate the confusing world of medicine than the pharmacists at Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram? Reed's trained pharmacists will help you navigate the maze of healthcare. Call 245-DRUG for more information. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
Let me help you to find a home that suits your needs and is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Call me today at 512-6406, then list it, sell it, and move on.
At Maple Springs Senior Living in North Logan, we understand that entrusting the care of your loved one to someone else is a decision not taken lightly. That's why we go above and beyond to create a nurturing environment where your family becomes our family.
When I found Maple Springs, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. The staff here really cares, and Mom is thriving.
The activities and social events have brought so much joy to Dad's life. I can see a positive change every time I visit.
We know that your loved one's well-being is your top priority, and it's ours too. Learn more at maplesprings.living.com.
And welcome back to our Senior Moment Show. My name's Bryce Patton with Sid Roeder, our co-host. And we've been talking with Alan Thorne with RT Med Mobile. We've been discussing quite a bit on lift chairs and customizable, but also wheelchair ramps, stair lifts, grab bars, and things like that. I'm curious because I'm kind of a KSL or Facebook Marketplace kind of guy on a lot of things. Can somebody find the stair lifts used? Because would that save some money? And can you guys install those? Or is there safety risk in that?
That is an excellent question because, we do live in a very do-it-yourself community here in northern Utah. And it is tempting to save some money and buy something like that online, and people do. Actually, just in the last couple months, I've been to 2 different homes that have asked me to evaluate for stair lifts, and I've shown up and they've had used stair lifts. One was not installed, and they asked if we could install it. But as I took measurements and looked, they found it on KSL. Yeah, it probably saved thousands of dollars, but it didn't fit their stairwell. And I had to tell them at the time, for liability reasons, I can't install this and put my seal of approval on it because I'm not confident it's going to take care of you. And I guess for your viewers that don't understand a stair lift, you've all seen them. They're the chairs with a track. You can sit at the bottom of the stairs and push a button and the chair runs you up the stairs and gets you to the top. If something goes wrong on those, it's obviously a huge hazard and a huge risk. And so I don't encourage people to buy those used. We want to make sure we get them right. The other one I looked at had been installed. They'd bought it online. A family member had installed it. And I went and looked at it, and the chair went up to about 3 steps below the top of the stairs. And so this is a woman who she's a fall risk. She's having a hard time getting around her home. And when she goes up to her room, she has to ride that stair lift to the 3rd stair from the top, unbuckle herself, get out of it, on this narrow step, and then climb the last 3 stairs to get up there. She's making it work okay, but they probably saved $2,000 or $3,000 on that. But if she has one fall, it's not worth it. And so I encourage people to get it right. Spend the money, get the right equipment, and the same goes for the wheelchair ramps. Let's make sure it's ADA compliant and has everything for you. Let's get what you need so we don't have an accident down the road. It's not worth the risk. So we do not install the used equipment for that reason.
Yeah. Do you have, I don't even know what to, an average on what, let's say, 10 or 12 flights of stairs. What's an average price for a good fitting stair lift? Can you give us a range?
For the majority of what we're going to see here in the valley, if you're just going from, one level to another level, you're going to be looking between $3,500 and $6,500, depending on how heavy duty of a product we need, the weight capacity, how long the stairs are. But that's kind of a good range to look at to make sure you have something that fits and that's safe.
As I'm thinking about this, falling is a huge issue as people get older, and that's a lot of medical bills and different things. And so the $35 to $6,500 might seem like a bit, but a hospital stays quite a bit quite a bit more and can be very expensive. So is that kind of what your thought process on things about it? Try and prevent, do it right the first time?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and that's RT Med Mobile is all about home accessibility. And so when we come do the evaluation at your home, I'm looking to see how can we avoid a fall? How can we make sure there's not an accident? What equipment do you need to use every day, to sit in, to sleep in, to walk with? What do you need in your bathroom to make sure we don't have a fall? Because it'll seem expensive up front, but once you have that fall and have that injury, then you have to spend the money for the hospital stay and everything else that you're doing. So to plan ahead and get that right is a big deal, and making sure we get the right equipment actually will save you money in the long run.
So what things have you seen as you go into homes that are usually some of the bigger fall risks or things that you need to address most?
So once, that is an excellent question. Once I'm in the home, it usually is because there are concerns for falls. And so the fall risks I see are getting on and off the toilet seat. You know, you're on tile floor, it's slippery. Let's make sure you have the right footwear on to make sure your feet don't slip out from under you. Let's make sure the grab bars are strategically placed. Rugs on the floor that might get bunched up under a walker that'll trip you. Thresholds even, going in and out of doors, make sure we have an even transition in between rooms and on the doorstep. Those are all things I'm looking for, and we have equipment to mitigate the risks in each of those locations. And of course, that's only scratching the surface on some of the things we look at during our free consultations.
Yeah, this actually raises a memory out of my real estate experience where I was invited to evaluate a house, and it wasn't a stair lift, it was a hydraulic lift from one floor to the upper floor. And there were no safety guards, and I do know for a fact from the family member that a grandchild once opened the top door to the space where the lift was installed and had fallen one flight.
Oh, no.
Straight down. So, yeah, don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
But, Alan, before we're at the end of our show, can we have your phone number one more time?
Yes, we are RT Med Mobile, and our phone number is 435-260-6171.
Perfect. And again, I'd like to mention our sponsor, which is the Empowering Seniors Group. If you would like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniors.cv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. I hope you enjoyed our show, and I hope you tune in again next week.